Hello and welcome to another episode of Mortgage Video Mastermind, where we bring you professionals who share insight into the latest trends, tips, industry, technology, and services to help you create more videos to use in your mortgage business. Kelly. Yay. And I'm going to have you unmute yourself.
I am unmuted.
Yes. I can hear you. Hello.
How are you?
We're glad to have you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Yeah. Just doing a little mortgage coach stream. So we got off that and popped in here, and I'm excited.
Not another one. Nice. Well, we're very happy to have you on here. And normally we have Scott is normally on here, and he's on a flight to Chicago. I know Carl is just getting back from Italy. Not sure where Frank is. So it's you and me, sister, to talk about all things influencing. So, and we are live streaming onto Facebook. So if you're joining us on Facebook, you can type your questions in there. If you are watching us on the webinar, you can type in either the chat or the Q&A. And let's just go ahead and make sure that you all can hear us. And if you can just type in, let me know where you're calling in from today. And let me know what questions that you have for Kelly. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on Kelly, and I'm going to let her fill in. So Kelly is a branch manager, originator, one of the top in the country. And Kelly, you started doing video. I started noticing you doing video probably about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. Is that right?
I actually started to do video in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And so it's been a while. It was a fun journey to get started, let me tell you. So we're going to talk a little bit about video. But it starts to get legs. It starts to pick up momentum, that's for sure.
Exactly. But and you started, I mean, you're one of the cool kids that started doing video and really creating what I absolutely love is that educational content. So giving the information, what they need to know, putting it into tidbits. What made you get started? What was that one thing you said, you know what, I think I'm going to record some videos?
Yeah, it was an idea, really. So I started in the business in 96. Yes, that means I started when I was like 12. But so then, and up until 2014, I had been sending out a weekly email to the real estate community, and it had a nugget. That was it. That was the goal. I'm an educator. That's my passion. And I just felt like, what can I share with the real estate community that can help them move the needle in their business? And that's really where this weekly email came from. And at that point, it was probably going to about 1,500 real estate agents every Friday, like clockwork. That thing went out. So in 2013, I just had this thought. I thought, gosh, what if I took that weekly email and I created a video about it? This was back when kind of the whole video thing was like, it was a murmur. It was way different than it is today.
Whisper.
Right. Video. So I sat down with Shay, who's my amazing marketing gal. And I'm like, hey, I have this idea. Yeah, she's so good. And I'm like, I have this idea. And what do you think? And she didn't know how to do video. I didn't know how to do video. And she's like, okay, let's do it. So in 2013, and if you remember, I said I didn't start doing video until 2014. That was a bit of a lie because actually I tried to do video in 2013.
In 2013.
So I probably shot maybe 8 videos that whole year in 2013. Never sent one of them out, not one.
And why?
Because I was mortified with what I said.
Are you serious?
I was like, oh my God. When you see yourself on video, like all the demons, at least for me, they all came out. I was like, oh, I do that thing with my eye. You mean I do that thing with my body? Oh my gosh. Right. So it was torture. It was truly torture. But I was like, I knew this was something. And if you guys have ever had that kind of like gut thing that it tells you you're onto something, you have to pursue it. You have to move through the fear. And that was really what it was with this video thing. So January 2014, I remember sitting down with Shay and we're working on our marketing plan. And I'm like, hey, we got to figure this video thing out. And she said, we don't need to figure anything out. You need to get out of the wrong way. And I was like, what? Who is saying that to me? She was
what
like,
are you talking
right.
about?
I'm like, what? Yeah. So she was 100% right. I mean, I had to get out of my own way. And actually, she said something that really did change the course of this journey. And that was, she knew my passion, and my passion still to this day is to educate the real estate community and home buyers across the country. Like that, I just am so passionate about it. So she said, Kelly, you have all of these amazing thoughts and information that you can share to change the community. And you're so focused on yourself that you're not allowing yourself to do that. And she was 100% right. So that was really the flipping of the switch for me in January 2014. And I didn't make it easier, but it made it easier because I was so committed to the sharing of information that I started to focus less on myself. And that was it. So since January 2014, we have sent out a video a week to the real estate community, 50 weeks out of the year now for 8 years. And so now, and that was our initial kind of journey into video. And now we do video on all different levels, but it was just that one decision to change what I had been doing to bring more value to the real estate community and do that in a way that was, the thing with video is that people can connect with you and they get to know your spirit a little bit and it breaks down barriers. And so they get to know you without really getting to know you. So in the way we used it and, track the analytics and everything else, I mean, it's truly been a game changer, not only in my business, but certainly just with regard to building a brand. And I would encourage anybody out there that right now, if you aren't in YouTube and you're not in, social on some level doing video, it's such a great opportunity because right now, more than ever, it is up to us to come together as an industry, including the real estate industry. And we've got to be louder than the negative media that is just toxic to our buyers and sellers and borrowers, So this is an opportunity right now to rise above that, but it means you're going to have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into the next part that I want to ask you, Frank has joined us. Hello, Frank.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
How's everybody?
You to Kelly. Very good. So a comment. So I'm seeing on our Q&A that for some reason the chat has been disabled. I have no idea why. So if you have questions, type them in the question and answer box. I'm going to and see if I can our Facebook too. But if you do have a question and you are listening on Zoom, then type it in the Q&A box. And we are getting lots of questions in. So I'm going to kind of recap 2014. You basically got over yourself, which is so funny because Kelly, you are absolutely adorable. You're beautiful. So for someone like Kelly to say, I don't like how I look, it's like, seriously, girl? But one of the questions, and I know this is something that a lot of people struggle with, is where do you get your ideas for topics for your videos?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And you're right. Content is always like, oh, what am I going to talk about? But I would tell you, you guys have content at your fingertips. What are the top 3 questions that a first-time home buyer asks you? Boom, content. You sit down with a real estate agent. What's going on in your market? Boom, content, right? You read the media, boom, content, counteract what they're saying if it's not correct, right? Things that go wrong in a transaction, a deal you saved. You don't have to be like Joe Smith, I saved that deal, right? But you can tell the story. You can talk about the top things not to do during this process, right? Don't quit your job, don't go buy a new car, those types of things. I mean, really, the content is easier than you think. Just kind of keep a running list on your phone and you'll be surprised at how easy. And at the end of the day, follow me on YouTube, follow anybody else that you like what they're doing in the YouTube space, just follow them and swipe and adapt. It doesn't have to be original content. Is this a crash or not? Go do one. Just say it in your own way, which you will, and it will be different, and it's fine. People are always like, "Oh my gosh, can I use that content?" I'm like, "Yes, free."
We're all doing mortgages. I had someone ask me that the other day, and it's like, because we provide scripts in our toolbox, and she said, "Well, what if everybody's using the same scripts?" I said, "Are you all doing the same type of loans? I mean, you're all doing mortgages and everyone's going to have their own spin on it." So going and following, especially on YouTube, TikTok, anything that you're saying, if you see something you like, swipe and adapt it. I think that's something that's very important. And Scott always says to go to your inbox. If you're getting a question that is a continuing question over and over again, then that is a great topic to be able to do a video about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So question,
Frank, we're getting a comment on your world's largest mic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I want people to hear what I got to say. You know what I mean?
What is
It's very important to me, you know, but you know what I like about just what I've heard so far with Kelly is I love you had that defining moment, January of 2014. Interesting for us too. And for me, it was July 2nd, 2007. That was my defining moment. That was the day that it happened. That was the day I knew I'm going to do this. I did my first one. Right. And I thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Right. And what I really appreciate about what you did is you did weekly. We and Brian, of course, did daily, but you did it weekly and you never stopped and you kept on going. I think one of the toughest things for people to do is, you know, how do we say this, Ginger? You started in 2014. So how many years has that been? Somebody do the quick math now. How many years have you been doing this? Yeah. So years, almost 10 years, right? So 8 years. So, you know, when you started January 14, it's not like you were looking 8 years down the line. You know what I mean? It just, you knew you were going to do this every week. And then it seems
1 week at a time.
Yeah. 1 week at a time. And it seems almost like kind of almost impossible, you know, to look back. Now you look back, go, I can't believe it's been 8 years. I can't believe I've done all these videos. I can't believe it's done all these things for me. You can't believe it. But so when you first get started, I guess what I'm trying to say is for those who want to get started, take these stories to heart and understand, like if you start your first one tomorrow and you do one the next week, trust me, 8 years is going to show up, you know, and if you just do it every single week, you'll be able to look back and at this body of work, you know, over 8 years that is going to produce for you an amazing amount of activity and connections. And Kelly, I trust me, I guarantee you've got so many new connections that you never would have ever had. So many opportunities came your way that never, ever would have come your way. Right. Am I right? Am I right?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. It changed my life. I know it kind of sounds corny, but
it does.
That, I know it's corny, like that microphone. But anyway, no, I'm just saying it really just that decision to not only just do it and push past the fear, because the fear was real. I mean, it was real. And it was debilitating at a point, you know, but it's like anything. Once we make the decision, reminding ourselves every day, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And right now, it's a little tough in our business, right? Right? I mean,
a little bit for some.
Right? But guess what? We have an opportunity right now. We have an opportunity right now. And I'm telling you, the video component of building your brand is without a doubt the best thing I ever did for my brand and my business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you should be doing it 100% right now. In fact, double down. And speaking of which, so a lot of people, you know, you can get over, I can get over the fact of doing the video. I can get over the fact of doing, you know, topics and things like that. But you have a team, so you record the video and they edit and produce it and post it and do all that for you. So you have a team that does that, right?
Yeah, but I want to say, don't feel like you have to have a team, because in the beginning, I didn't have a team. It was just me, a tripod. We went and spent a lot of money on a camera. You don't need that now. If you got one of these, you're good to go. Get a tripod, get a little $20 lavalier mic. I mean, literally, that's how we do video today.
Yeah.
Still a tripod, still a lavalier mic, still this. I mean, we're not that fancy, you know? So the editing and all of the pop-ups and that kind of stuff, yeah, that's happened over time, but it's not where I was when we first started this. Just do the video and get it out. Like, you don't have to have all the fancy stuff, because you're still an originator. You still have to call on real estate agents. You still have to talk to consumers. So we don't want you spending 10 hours a day on this, right? Now what will happen is you're going to start to get into a rhythm, and now you're going to be able to, okay, now I'm going to start to edit. I want to start to do the thumbnails and that kind of stuff. Thumbnails are probably the most important part in distribution. So I think somebody asked over there about how we distribute. I do want to talk about that real quick. And that is a lot of different ways. But first, for us, everything goes on YouTube. YouTube is our library. And the reason for that is that YouTube is the place that people go when they want to learn stuff, right? When you're posting video in social, it's scrolling feed. So it's here today, gone tomorrow type of thing. So YouTube is our house. Doesn't mean that we don't post on Insta and Facebook. We do, but it's not, if we have to pick at the end of the day, YouTube is where we go. That's our baby. And so from there, we send out that weekly update that I was mentioning to you. Now it looks way different. So we're sending to over 6,000 real estate agents every week. We use Constant Contact as the email distribution system. There's a lot of different ones out there. We just started with Constant Contact. It's worked for us very well over the years, and it's not broken. So we will take the Constant Contact, we'll upload the distribution list. We're going to do a little bit of words in the email. We're not telling them everything we're going to tell them in the video. We want to get them to go watch the video, but we're going to tell them a little bit of why they should watch the video. Then we're going to do a thumbnail that has the link to YouTube in the video, and then that is what is sent out. So hopefully that answers the question in the chat.
Yeah, and you can, so Glenn's is asking, is that a YouTube embed link weekly video or a bomb? And you can do it on either. As Kelly said, you use Constant Contact, you could put it into bomb. The thing that YouTube does, and it's a library. You should everyone should have a YouTube account, period.
It's free.
That's what it's going to. It's free, yeah. And why not put yourself in the middle of what people are searching for? And so, having the thumbnail is important. Your titles are also very important. And then the other thing is ask people to subscribe. So probably part of what you do on your newsletter is you have on there, subscribe. And we actually just started for our clients. You can turn that subscribe button into a URL. And then when people click on it, you can put it in a newsletter, they automatically subscribe. So it's not an extra click. So those are the kind of things that are important. So I want to take the next conversation into something you started, and I'm not sure when you started it, but you started a real estate influencers Facebook group. So talk to me about that, why you did it, and what your mission is with that.
Yeah, so it's called Video Real Estate Influencer, and it's on Facebook. And really the goal there is I'm so passionate about us as a real estate community coming together and leveraging video to build our personal brands. I was getting all the same questions. So I'm like, maybe I should just do something about this. So we created a community, and you're all invited to join. Just find us on Facebook. Video Real Estate Influencer. You'll see it there. It's private group, so just let us know how you found us. We'll let you in. But from there, we're sharing content ideas. We're sharing tips and tricks. We're getting other people to engage in those conversations. So maybe Ginger, you have your wealth of knowledge, and I know you're part of that group, and thank you for that. But just being able to share, hey, we just did this and it worked out really well. Hey, just try this mic, that kind of stuff. Because if we can bring this together and we can have community around it, it makes us all better.
Right. Well, and you and I have had this conversation when you started the group, and we started as Mortgage Video Mastermind. We changed to Mortgage Influencers. And part of that is just expanding it. Honestly, Tim Mills, Tim Davis we had on last week, and he doesn't do a lot of video, but he had a lot of other ideas. And it's like, video is one thing, there's something else. But when I started the conversation about getting originators to do more video, I kind of thought real estate agents had it down because I knew a lot of people that were in real estate and did a lot of videos. But it's interesting in that group, it's like they don't. And so you get started in video, it's a great way for you to build your business, to be able to help them do videos and maybe invite them and say, hey, you want to do a video together? And they're probably as terrified about it as you are. So you get even just a little bit good at it, then you can take it in the other direction.
Oh, 100% without a doubt. And, I think just sometimes when you have that real estate partner and they do want to do video, but trust me, they're feeling the same thing, right? Don't know how, fear, I don't have time, all the same excuses. We all have them, But if you can go on that journey with them, there's something special when you can go through some pain with somebody, and you get to the other end of it and you can encourage each other and hold each other accountable and things like that. Talk together, come together, do a quick interview. Hey, Joe, tell me about what's going on in the market. Increasing inventory. What does that mean? Blah, 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 blah. Like, you are such an asset to them because they don't know mortgage. And right now, let's face it, rates are up. So people are afraid. Let's chunk through that. What are some buying strategies today that buyers can use to create affordability? We've got seller concessions back on the table. Let's just talk it out, right? And to be able to do that in a very authentic way is magic.
Absolutely. And it's important to be able to develop those relationships and think about, Frank, putting it into, the daily success plan to where you're calling the realtors, can call and say, hey, I'd love to be able to sit down and do a video talking about the market, what you're seeing, finding a good real estate agent, all those kind of things. There's a ton of different things that you can talk about: making a good offer, how to make your offer stand out, how to get first-time home sellers. And Frank, you are brilliant about doing that. It's like, if you have a first-time buyer that's first-time selling, they're probably buying another house. So sit down and talk about, if you're selling your house for the first time, what do you need to know? So a ton of different opportunities to be able to have that.
Well, I like the idea too of working with real estate agents to, hey, let's start doing these videos together. And I would say, man, look for there's a lot of top high producing agents. They're not doing it right. They got their gig, they're doing their thing and they're doing well, but man, they would probably love to. Yeah, I'd like to start dabbling in that. If you can help them do that, remember, these are producing agents. You help them do that. You do some sort of interview thing, talk about the market. Of course, you're going to market it like crazy on your end, but do you think that maybe they might do the same thing? Well, of course they will, right? They're going to say, well, I'm going to share this on all my social sites and do all that kind of stuff. Well, they're dragging you along with them, right? The lending professional that's on the video as well. So really great idea. I mean, and easy
it doesn't
to do.
stop. Like,
yeah.
It's good exposure, right?
Yeah, it's exposure, It's
right.
It's really brilliant.
It's not a bad idea, probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kelly, you started out doing one video a week. We're seeing, and when you started, I know most of your videos are probably anywhere between a minute to probably 3 minutes. You're a really good educator. Is that about right?
Depending on the algorithms, the time of the video has changed over time. So at this point, what I say now, we're doing shorts and everything else. We do long format, short format, all of it. But I would say talk for as long as you need to talk to get your point across. So if that's 2.1 seconds or, try to make them 30 seconds minimum, especially on shorts, 60 seconds minimum. But most of our videos are probably 2 minutes, but you'll start to see a longer format. I'm doing more interviews right now. We just did one the other day with the top real estate partner here in the Phoenix metro area. And that was like 30 minutes because we had a lot to say, and that's okay. So again, don't limit yourself. Like, oh my gosh, unless you're doing a short, don't limit yourself. Like if it's 3 minutes, it's 3 minutes. That's fine.
So let me ask you this: on those longer ones, especially the interviews, do you clip some of those out and then use those on social? Okay. So you can do the longer format, clip them out to where you have, the I call it Gary V style. Gary Vaynerchuk is known for that, where you do 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, and then you can use that as a lead, as a hook, to be able to bring them to the longer content as well. So thinking about a strategy, which you guys do such a great job with, and Shay is phenomenal, love her, but really having that to where you're not just like, oh my gosh, what's this video I'm going to do? Have a plan, sit down and put some thought into this. Guys, this is the time to really market your business. You are in business. That means as a business, you do marketing and you promote yourself. And I think sometimes in the mortgage industry, we forget that the phone doesn't just automatically ring. And so thinking about those things and having a plan is very important.
I want to roll it back just a second, if I can. Can I go backwards just for a real quick second? So one of the things you brought up that I think is real important for anybody who hasn't started down this path yet to understand is you don't have to start with fancy editing or anything like that. You can just get started. But I think a natural progression, it was for us anyway, the natural progression is that we were like, oh, this is kind of starting to get to be a little fun, and so it was like, well, boy, I wish I had some kind of a little visual thing happening, and so you start to go in a little deeper. You start to experiment with some things. And on our end, and you probably were the same way, but on our end, I was just learning it myself. Like I got software and I was in there. I mean, me and Brian we were using, it was a Windows program. I forget what it was called, but it was a really crappy video editing software. And we would literally break it on every show. Like it would crash the computer and just everything would just die because we're trying to make it do too many things. But we gradually progressed into Macs and other things like that. But then, it got to the point where it's like, oh, thank God we can have somebody else do this stuff now. We don't have to do this stuff for us. So my question for you is, you have a team that does your editing for you and that kind of stuff. Are these people that are in your office that are working directly with you every day, or are these a Fiverr? We've outsourced this to overseas type stuff, or what's your editing team look like for your content right now?
Yeah, it's a great question. We've done it all. We've outsourced to Fiverr. Shay did it for the longest time, and then it just got to the point where we needed more help. So really, it's only been just maybe in the last year that we tripled down on this. So we now have a videographer in-house. He does the editing. Shay still oversees that. We've got a social media gal in-house. She's, helping with all the social media execution on that. But that's not how it started, guys. And I almost don't want to tell you that because I feel like people will be like, oh, forget it. I can't do it. Right. Yeah. At the end of the day, it was me, a camera, and Shay. And really Shay's role. And I give her all the credit in the world because what you see on YouTube, none of that would have been without Shay, because she was really the rock. She was really just my accountability partner. Like she knew. And I would tell her, be like, look, if we don't do video, it's your fault. It's not mine. Right. She'd be like, oh, got it. So she'd march in here. It's on my calendar for an hour every, twice a week now. She's in here, lights are up, cameras up, tripods up, boom. She puts the sign on the door and we are rolling, right? Like she is on it. And that accountability partner is huge. So I would say find it, because that is the one piece of this. If we're salespeople, right? We get distracted. We're like, oh, gotta take this call. I'm like super important. Yeah, no, you don't. It's 11 o'clock, we shoot video, let's go. And boom, that was the only reason we've been as consistent as we have been.
Yeah. It's interesting how it progresses though, isn't it? Over time. The way you look back where it started, I remember my very first one. I was playing a jaw heart. Oh, here it is right here. Yeah. This very jaw heart right here. I was playing this. I was beating my fist and singing a little song. My brother was behind me flipping note cards saying, get off your ass, do something. And it was for my loan officers, right? I was doing it for my originators, but there was no editing. There was none of that, for quite a long time. And then we started to introduce it. So I would say to everybody, don't even think about that stuff. Just start doing it. Just start getting it out there. There'll be a natural progression of that sort of thing, right? That sort of thing will just naturally come around and they will improve. They'll get better. Like your latest videos, hopefully your best one, because hopefully you're getting better and better and better, so.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of it. Carl always says the video you make today is better than the video you didn't make yesterday.
Right.
So it's a matter of,
totally
really
true.
getting started. So Kelly, and we like to keep this at, a half an hour. So I'm going to hop off. If we have other questions, post them in Kelly's group as well. And she's great about sharing. Shay, the magical Shay that Kelly's talking about, was on a couple weeks ago. So I'll repost what we had in her interview, and she is absolutely phenomenal. But let me ask you this, Kelly. Do you think, because people are always like, is it worth it? Can you really get loans from doing this? So from your own, just from where you are at on this journey, do you feel like it has made a difference in your business?
Without a doubt, 100%. Yeah, the first year we did video consistently, my business increased by 34% that 1 year. I mean, it was a material, oh my gosh, right? And now, I would also say just, you don't shoot a video and think you're going to get a loan. What you're doing is building a brand. You're building a business, and you're building this takes time. So now the reach is so much further that Yes. Do we get loans from it? Yes. But do I get people searching me out to want to join my team and be part of this? Yes. Do we have real estate agents that reach out and say, hey, I saw your video on a seller buy down. Can you help me through that? Yes. All of that. So it all just comes together and it creates a life of its own. So without a doubt, it's changed my business.
I love that. Well, thank you. So I posted, so it's Video Real Estate Influencers is the Facebook group. And so hop on there, find out what Kelly's doing. Kelly, what is your YouTube channel?
Kelly on YouTube. I also have one called Mortgage How Do I, which is fairly new. We just started that last year. It's more of a consumer.
What is it called again, Kelly?
It's called Mortgage How Do I. It's also on YouTube. And
okay.
it's more mortgage or consumer focused on that one, really just trying to teach people, how to prepare for the process, what's credit, what's an FHA loan, that kind of stuff. And then Kelly on YouTube is the main YouTube that has been in existence since 2013.
And it's Kelly with a Y, just so you know. So if you are looking for ideas, follow Kelly. She does a phenomenal job. I'm a huge fan of yours, Kelly. Absolutely love everything you do. You are a great educator, and I want to thank you for that. And I'm with you, girl. I mean, we've got to get the videos out there to educate. So,
yes.
So keep doing it. Thank you so much for joining us. I know Scott is sorry that he couldn't be here. So he says, tell her she has to come back when I can be on.
I will. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. You guys get out and do video.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.